Today in the church, and we Carmelites, the whole world, we are celebrating a very great saint, Saint Teresa of Avila, Saint Teresa of Jesus. In Spain, she's called La Madre. She contributed a lot in the church. And now I'm going to present about prayer, what she says about prayer. She says that prayer is a primarily deep, intimate friendship with God. And she emphasizes that prayer is focused on God, fostering humility and a sincere disposition of heart. And she says that the goal of prayer, the first one, is union with God. In the book called Interior Counsel, she explains that the soul is striving every day to unite with God, whereby God stays in our center of our soul. So she explains 7 motions, whereby the soul is moving one by one to reach to that 7th motion. And the second one, she said that is the second goal is spiritual growth. Prayer helps us to grow in our spiritual life, to live our life as God's people, to apply our daily activities to God's will. And also, she offers different practicals, what we can offer when we are praying. The first one is vocal prayer. She said that vocal prayer, it is very important, especially she emphasized much on the prayer of our Father. She said that when we are praying that prayer of our Father with caution, mentioning each word with cautious, and that prayer, it is very beneficial in our lives. The second one, she said that meditation. Of course, in that vocal prayer, she said that, of course, it is not everybody who can manage to meditate or to contemplate. Even she quoted in the book of The Way of Perfection, chapter 26, she said that, sisters, those whose minds cannot constantly focus on God, or maybe their mind cannot stay long in meditation, they are just wandering around. She's urging them to practice this prayer, which is called vocal prayer. The second one is called meditation. Meditation, she said, that is the foundation of spiritual growth, whereby we pray, we unite our minds and our hearts with God, so that we can focus only on God, to listen to Him and to know what He is telling us. Another one, she said that perseverance in prayer. She said that it is very good to persevere in prayer, and most of the time, devil uses guilt and fear in order to abandon prayer. And she encourages us to focus much on prayer, to persevere despite on what, even if we are not interested, but let us try to persevere so that we can achieve that goal of being united with God, to reach that transforming life, which she calls that spiritual marriage.
Saint Teresa observed a relaxed lifestyle among the nuns of her time, and this led her to the initiation of a reformation in order to restore back the way of life as the Carmelite rule proposes. For her, community was to be molded like that of the community of Jesus, where everyone is loved, noticed, and supported. As essential as the life of prayer was, so also was community life for Saint Teresa. In the way of perfection, she shared the fact that the community should be made holy, and God's help will never lack. As one grows in prayer, fraternal life must never diminish. In fact, it is in this context that prayer becomes practical. Prayer is put into action. She notes in the chapter 13 of The Way of Perfection, and I quote, that this house is a heaven, if one can be hard on this earth. Here we have a very happy life, if one is pleased only with pleasing God, and pays no attention to her own satisfaction. This points to the fact that our lives, our presence in the community, is a gift from God. It is a privilege, which in turn demands a response. One which demands hard work in order to do what pleases God. This, therefore, illustrates the fact that Community life is a very vital aspect of St. Teresa's life, writings, and teaching. She urges us all to have concern, support, and care for each other.
Santa Teresa of Avila, una mujer de gran determinación. Our Holy Mother St. Teresa of Avila, as we all know, is a great woman in the church and a woman of great determination. In her 20 years of struggle for holiness, for prayer, to be in great union with God, and for all the mystical experiences which she had, she cultivated a very significant virtue in her life, which she calls the determined determination. Not just the determination, but to determine our determination. Through this determined determination, she was able to overcome her struggles in prayer. She was able to read many mystical books. She was able to grow in prayer. She was able to grow in her union with God. And she was able to accomplish her heart desire, which is to reform the order. And as well, she teaches us, her sons and daughters, and all who wishes to grow in prayer life, to be in union with God, to cultivate this virtue. And we may ask ourselves what she meant when she said determined determination. In a simple term, it means to be focused on what our heart desires to achieve. And as Carmelites and Christians, our heart longs to be with God, to have union with Him, to grow in our prayer life. And by focusing on Christ who has called us, we are able to achieve all this aim. This does not mean that we may not experience challenges, trials, resistance. We will experience all this, but having our eyes focused on Christ who has called us, we will be able to achieve all this, and we will be able also to grow in our mystical life. Our Holy Mother Teresa teaches us that through this determined determination, we will not only distract our distractions, which is distracting us from coming closer to God or from growing in our mystical experiences with God. We will also distract our distractions and challenge our challenges. Challenging our challenges, whereby through our challenges we are able to grow in our prayer life, in a relationship with God, in a relationship with one another. And finally, just like her, we will enter the castle in our hearts where the King dwells, and rejoice with her together with all the heavenly host.
St. Teresa of Avila emphasizes the importance of humility in her writings. She describes humility as a foundation of spiritual life and prayer, essential growth for holiness. St. Teresa of Avila defines humility as walking in truth, which means knowing oneself realistically in contact to the glory of God. For her, she saw humility as a virtue combining self-knowledge and detachment from material things. She stresses the importance of self-knowledge, believing that understanding ourselves, our flaws, is crucial to developing humility. St. Teresa of Avila, she also says that humility brings inner peace, joy, and tranquility, and also fights against spiritual pride and illusion. All in all, she generalized that humility is truth.